This is Cultural Debris with host Alan Cornett.
Jordan Poss, welcome to Bookish Questions with Cultural Debris.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What is your new book and what's it about?
My newest is a novella or short novel called The Snipers. It is about a sharpshooter in the 1st Infantry Division during World War II. It takes place in the fall of 1944 during the Battle of Aachen, right on the border of Germany, the Siegfried Line, kind of the last-ditch, major defenses of the Third Reich on the French border. And if you're a medievalist like me, you also know that as the city of Charlemagne, right? So there's layers and layers there. But the narrator is kind of a country boy from rural Georgia, like myself. He gets a call up from his battalion commander saying that the advance into the city has been held up by a German sniper, and they need a counter sniper to go root this guy out. And that's his mission. That's the basic story of the entire book, but of course things turn out to be it's an illustration of Clausewitz, right? Everything in war is very simple, but all the simple things are really hard. Things develop in unexpected directions, and some of the men that he's ostensibly helping are convinced there's actually more than one sniper. So there's almost it's not precisely a layer of mystery to it, but there's again a lot that's just unknown that has to be uncovered.
This is what, your fourth, fifth historical novel?
Fifth, including there's there's three earlier full-length novels, one earlier novella about the day that Cicero was murdered in the Roman the end of the Roman Republic. My tally is complicated by the fact that I do have a fourth full-length novel that I've been kind of working on for 4 years at this point. I actually started before COVID. I've periodically revised it. I'm hoping to get that out in the next year. But I wrote this year. I wrote The Snipers this year, and got it out this summer. So, it's going to mess with the chronology for, whatever future.
So what is it that draws you to historical fiction? Why historical fiction rather than something set in current times or just straight history?
Oh, yeah. Well, I do occasionally, I teach history. That's my day job. That's what my training is in. I minored in creative writing in college, as a history major. But for me, there's not actually a divide between straight history and historical fiction. Not in the sense that history is fiction. I'm not a postmodernist, but the motivation for me is the same with both. It's to find out what happened, and the really key question for me, and the reason I gravitate to the fictional side of it, is to find out what it was like. What was it like to actually be there? Because I'm interested in both of those questions, but the kind of the one the novelist can answer is to kind of put you in past people's shoes and sort of make you feel it very, very viscerally, if that makes sense.
Sure. You mentioned new project or an ongoing project. Do you have anything else, and what's that one about, and what are you working on?
So the one that I'm revising, I've always got a bunch of irons in the fire. It's a vice, but the one I'm revising is another medieval story. My first published novel is set in Viking Age Iceland. This one is set in Britain in the 6th century, and is it's just this kind of classic fistful of dollars, Yojimbo sort of scenario of two warring factions and a loner in the middle manipulating them. But set in the kind of border regions post-Arthur, but before the founding of kingdoms like Wessex and Mercia, between, the Welsh on one side and the incoming Anglo-Saxons on the other, which, again, I put a lot of effort into, and I really, really enjoyed writing, and I just want to make sure that it's as good as possible before I let it go. The other stuff I've got, similar to The Snipers, I've actually got another novella planned. Actually, I have an idea for several, not related novellas, but similar short novels, all set and in different wars and different conflicts about unusual scenarios. The Snipers is kind of testing the water with that. I've got another one about a Austrian soldier on the Italian front in World War I that I've got in plot outline that I haven't written yet. And I've also another serious project that I'm trying to move forward on soon is a historical mystery, where I take two of my favorite historical figures, pair them up as kind of like a buddy cop duo, and have them solve some crimes. So, and I'm sure I'll think of something else that I want to move up in priority before then.
Sounds fun. And your novels are very. I mean, this isn't dry history stuff. This is they're very exciting. Got a lot going on, a lot of mystery and intrigue. So I haven't read this new one yet, but I'm excited to give it a go. So tell me, since I know obviously not only are you a writer, but I can tell from behind you that you're a reader, and I also follow your Instagram, so I know that you are. What are you currently reading, or what are you currently recommending to people to read?
Oh man. Okay, how much time do we have? Well, what I'm currently reading, I had a number of friends across a couple of years recommend. I've actually got it right here. Declare by Tim Powers, which is a little. It might sound, a little bit outside my usual thing. It's a supernatural Cold War spy story. I haven't gotten into the explicitly supernatural stuff yet, but I've gotten hints about what's coming, which is intriguing. It purports to tell, kind of the real story of what was going on behind Kim Philby and that whole kind of worm, that kind of espionage at the very top of British intelligence. It's really, really entertaining so far. I've also just started a very old, I think, what year was it? 1951, maybe. Mystery by a guy named Max Murray, who was an Australian novelist. I just happened to discover his stuff in a used bookstore a couple of years ago and really enjoyed it. They're hard to find, but they are really fun if you can get a hold of them. It's a series of mysteries, and they all have corpse in the title. This one concerns an Australian minister who mysteriously kicks the bucket in the middle of a diplomatic function. And then I'm also reading, speaking of the Italian front, a history of the Italian front in World War I by a historian named Mark Thompson called The White War. Those are the things I'm actively reading. I've also got a to-read list about a mile long.
Well, yeah.
The struggle's real, right? But the primary thing I'm recommending to people right now that I can't get enough of is Charles Portis, who I discovered probably like a lot of people through True Grit. What was it? Maybe 13, 14 years ago when the Coen Brothers adaptation came out, I finally got around to reading the novel and reread it a couple of times. Then right about 10 years ago, right before I got married, read through the rest of his books. He's only got 5 to his name, and some short stories and assorted things. But I have now, I keep calling True Grit my favorite, but I have now read his last novel, Gringos, more, and it is vying in my affections to displace True Grit. But I've recommended Gringos to several people just this year, and even bought people copies to make sure that they read it. So that's the main thing. I could also give you a list a mile long of other stuff I've been recommending, but I'm very much on a Portis kick.
Very good. Well chosen, I think. So tell everyone where they can find you online.
Oh yeah, I do not have a Twitter or TikTok or anything like that. I am very active on Instagram, which tends to be slightly more positive, at least to me. My handle is at Jordan M as in Mike. Jordan M Poss, all one word. I've also got a kind of public-facing Facebook page under my name, so just look for Jordan M Poss there. The primary place I kind of hang out is on my own website, jordanmposs.com, where I post kind of the latest news, other things I've written, like book reviews, or actually had the first installment of an epic poem back in the spring, that kind of thing, and a blog where I spend. I get about between like 6 and 8 blog posts out per month on just whatever happens to be interesting to me. People tell me they enjoy it. So if you want to see what's up, jordanmposs.com is the place to check out. And anything else that you're going to see from Instagram and Facebook is going to come from there, probably.
And folks can find your books on Amazon, I assume, and through your website.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Jordan Impas, thanks for talking to me. And the book is The Snipers.
Thanks for having me.